Okay, so today we're doing Voleur, however you say that. It's a medium box, and I already have the scans done. So you can see here we have just the ports, and then we have the default scripts and version scanning. So we have 139 and 445. So we're going to use enum for Linux. And let me just grab this. Start taking some notes here. Enum for Linux. Do the same thing here. Enum for Linux. I like to do this because I like to see just the ports first, so I can just kind of plan what I'm going to do with different tools. So we do have creds. You already know this is a medium box, so those creds are not going to work here. And we know that's SSH because even though it says right here, you can see SSH here, right? When you do the probing. And then we have, we could do something like evil WinRM. Obviously we also have SMB map, SMB client. Some NXC. And you could do RPC client here. And yeah. So I'm just going to grab this second set as well. Yeah, it makes it messy. I'll just leave it there on the screen, that set. But something to pay attention to is down here is the, so this is obviously a Windows box, right? Or excuse me, not a Windows box, but the SKU here, Jesus. Okay. You can see the clock SKU here. So we're going to need to do something like a sudo ntp date. Just grab the IP here. And because if we try to run anything and the time difference between the box and us is too big, it's not going to work, right? Because, it's running Active Directory. So we'll just do that. Get rid of that clock SKU. Also, we have the domain name here. This is not the box name, this is the domain name. So we still gotta figure out what the box name per se is, right? But let's go ahead and run some enum for Linux. We'll do that on the right side here. And I already did this box, so you'll see my my commands popping up, but 232 130. Enum for Linux next generation. Do an aggressive scan with the credentials that we have, and we'll see what pops up here. A little bit more enumeration. You can see it's hitting LDAP 445 139. Okay, not much more there. Let's do one last thing I like to do is NXC. 232 and just grab this password. So DC, And you would also see that up here in the enum for Linux. Yeah, so it gives you the domain, gives you the box name, and we're also going to add this to our Etsy host now, right? So sudo nano Etsy host. We'll do that DC. And then just DC. So you have all three, right? You got the fully qualified domain name, you got the domain name right here, and then you got the box name, right? So just so we have all three methods. Do like a So something you can do with this is grabbing, so if we do klist, you can see that we don't have any Kerberos files or the cache, the C cache. So we can get that with the get TGT. Oh, is it already in here? Tehuti Voleur. Okay. Not sure what that's about, but we'll just grab this one. It might not even, this might be in my path actually. No, definitely not. We'll do that. Now we got that file there, that binary. And so what this is going to do, we're just going to grab, we're going to request tickets. So we already have credentials, right? So we're going to request a ticket for that. And you can see up here that NTLM, let's run this one again, NXC. Oh, also make sure you generate your krb5.com file for Kerberos authentication. And I'll show you how to do that here. 232.130. And that will generate a KRB5. Now you can also see here that NTLM authentication is disabled, so we have to use Kerberos authentication, right? And so you would have just done like an NXC with his credential, this credential here, and then it would have shown you this as well. NTLM authentication is false. So we will be using Kerberos authentication. I already generated my KRB5 file. You'll see that that's what that is here. Except when it generates with the IP. So you'll just update this stuff to, you know, the correct information. This is how I have mine generated right here. Feel free to pause and copy that. Okay, so yeah, let's just grab the ticket, Kerberos ticket for the credential that we currently have, since we can't do NTLM authentication. And so we'll do that with that get tgt.py. And I believe we already pulled that in here. Yeah, so we'll just do, let's do Python 3. And 30. Probably should have just copied this, and that should grab, yep, saving ticket. And so you'll see that it generated that ticket here in our working directory. And just to show you, klist, I have no tickets imported right now, right? So we'll do export that name there. and that exports it into, yep. And so now we have the ticket, as you can see. And so now we can authenticate using Kerberos as Ryan, right? So let's grab some of these commands. Let's backtrack a little bit. Also, actually, let me go back. Where we leave off, enum. Some enumeration stuff here. Actually, just grab this one instead. Or do both. Generated the char file. Edited it. Okay. And then grab the ticket. And we exported the ticket. We did a K list. That's not really important though, but yeah. Okay. All right, so we have the ticket exported. So what can we do with that now, right? Well, we know 445 is open, right? So, I mean, let's look for shares, right? Yeah, let's start there. Like I said, you could also do something with the SSH, but that's in the evil WinRM, but you already know that's not, this box is a medium box. It's not going to be that easy, right? So, but real world, you would try it. Credential reuse is a real thing, so. Okay, so I love using NXC. And okay, you can already see my command here. We'll just get rid of that. And we'll just do tag K for Kerberos authentication and then shares. Just like show me shares, man. Remember the DC Voleur is going to work because we have the that's imported into our Etsy host, right? So you see the domain name, fully qualified domain name, and the DC, right? So I like to just use the fully qualified domain name where possible. And so we got some shares here. We got this these two like finance and HR shares that are custom, not default, but we don't have any permissions to them. But we do have permissions to this IT share, and then these as well, but these are default, right? And while we're at it, we can look for users if you wanted to. Just do users. So we got some users. We'll keep note of that, obviously, here on the left. But again, we have read access to this IT share. So we're going to go ahead and get in there. I'm going to use something called Spider, a module for NXC called Spider Plus. And that's exactly what it does. It spiders through a share, and I can tell it to exclude default shares. So I can tell it to exclude this this admin share, the C drive, or the C drive, finance, HR, net logon, and sysvol, because we don't have access to those. So why try to have it spider through that, right? What's this? Change the Windows, I swear. Okay, so let's do that. We'll do it with SMB. Just go ahead and grab all of that. And the module, like I said, was called Spider Plus. And we will omit exclude their IPC admin, and that's don't forget the $, like I almost did. C drive, finance, HR, net logon, sysvol. And I think that is everything for that command. Okay, so you can see where it saved it. So we'll just throw this command in our notes. We'll just copy that to our working directory and we'll cat it out. So you see inside of that IT folder, there's a XLSX file. Audit CSV, inside of the sysvol, some other things, but I think this is, if I'm not mistaken, this is default, but we'll see. But yeah, this is a really cool module for just spidering through whatever you tell it to, and it's just quick. It's like, you know, y'all know I like the tree command as well, right? So, you know, tree. Okay, so we'll try to go ahead and grab that XLSX file. So we'll just do SMB client. You know what? Let's use py. So SMB client.py. I don't know why I keep saying that this stuff is in this drive, but yeah, it's definitely not. So, ooh, yeah, see, there's like a ghost file or something, I don't know. So instead we'll just grab this one. You know what, let me grab this one actually. You see it there now. We'll do Python 3. Kerberos authentication again to the DC, to the fully qualified domain name. Okay, so we're connected. You can do help, but what we're going to do, we're going to just do shares. All right, let me shares, list out the shares. We'll do use IT and do ls. Just cd into that, and we'll just do a get. Okay, and that should have copied it to our working directory. Yep, there it is. So we'll just exit this. I think we can just do exit. Yep. Okay, so we'll just go back and grab our commands. Remember, don't get too far ahead of yourself. and we'll say why we're doing that. Found inside IT share. Oh yeah, by the way, tell me how my new microphone is. I got a desktop microphone and I moved it closer. It's like right under my chin, almost. Okay, it's not that close, but it's much closer, and I feel like the audio is much higher quality. So, yeah, leave a comment. Let me know how that is. Okay, then we did that. And then we just did shares, use IT. See first. Okay. That is where we are now. So I'm on WSL. So what I'm going to do is just, okay, you can see my command there. And it is, it requires a password. So we don't have a password for that. So what we'll do is something called office to John. And so we'll do office to John, and there's my command again. Let me know if you want me to get rid of my history before starting boxes. I may or may not do that, but you know, if it interrupts your learning process, let me know if you want me to just get rid of history until someone says so. I will probably not do it, but yeah, so we'll just run this command here, and that's obviously going to turn the whole thing into a hash, and then we'll crack that hash. So yeah, all this stuff is in history. So we're using the word list rocku.txt against that hash we just created. And let me actually show you what's inside of that. This is the format that Office to John turns it into, and is going to proceed to crack that, right? So and I already did it, so we'll do, I think it's show hashes, or unknown object. Let me see, man John show show password. Okay. Did I not read that right, or oh my god, man John show there's a space there for sure. John, oh, is it just John show password? There it is. Okay, so football. So originally when you crack that up here, it'll actually give you that in yellow, but I had to do the show password thing because it had already been done. So there's the password for that file, football1, and I will run back that LibreOffice and football1. Okay, then from earlier, you can see, so here's a bunch of credentials, and let me scroll up a little bit here. You can see this matches those users that we pulled, of course, right? So Ryan Naylor, we already have access to that. Mary Bryant, but there's no credential or anything. Lacey Miller, same thing, no credential. We got a Todd Wolf, and he's crossed out, right? But we do have a password for it, and the account was deleted. So in an Active Directory environment, there's like a recycle bin, right? And for objects, and you can restore objects. So he's crossed out, he was deleted, but we do have a credential, so we'll see if he's still in the recycle bin, and then we can just restore that, right? And it says Jeremy Combs has access to the software folder. Got domain admin, service account. So here's some more credentials. We got a credential for, we got a password for service LDAP. We got a password for ISS. And I don't see a password for WinRM, but this backup says speak to. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, you know what, I'll just write these out, because if you snippet this and you need to copy it later, you got to write it out anyways later, so you might as well. So we got service LDAP, and I'll just IS. Jeez. Got Todd Wolf. Check recycle bin. Okay, and then I'll snippet this, right? And I think we're done with that, so I'll just close that out. Don't save, and we're gonna put our commands in here, what we've done to reach that point, right? Backtrack a little bit. So we'll just start here. Actually, no, let's go here. Make sure we can paint the picture. Required password. Football 1. Okay. And then we ran this back. Just be as detailed as possible, right? Okay. So so we have 2 creds out of that. Technically 3, but one's deleted, right? So we can test them, right? We can do like LDAP, DC. Oh, there it is. Okay. So we'll test this one first, and it's valid. You know, I probably have the other one in here too. No, LDAP. Yep. This one is also valid, right? And then, but if we did Todd, we know the correct format because of earlier, right? Or not. Yeah, that's right. It's deleted. So we just do Todd Wolf and try to throw his password in there. And then, yeah, that's not same principle as unknown, right? So it doesn't exist right now, at least because it's deleted, right? Okay. But we do have credentials, right? So what we could do right now is, you know, we could have did this way earlier with Ryan, is doing Bloodhound and grabbing credentials or grabbing all the objects out of the environment. We could still do that, but we have 2 new credentials, so I kind of want to just grab their tickets, right? Scratch that actually. Let's just go ahead and do the Bloodhound thing, right? So we're going to use Rusthound to do that. We'll grab those tickets later. But Rusthound CE for Community Edition, right? Because Bloodhound was recently updated to the Community Edition, so you have to use a Community Edition collector. So Rusthound is my favorite. It's not even... Yeah, this should work here. So we'll just... okay, yeah, Rusthound CE not found. Rusthound CE... Oh, did I not? I might have been using a different PC. Let me just grab that. Okay, I had to install it real quick. To do that on the Windows x86 system, I used the cargo command, and I had to install cargo as well. So, but we're back. So we're gonna run that Rusthound CE. Do a little collecting. And I'll just open up a new just Bloodhound. Okay. No, apparently I forgot my credentials for it. Give me a second here. Oh yeah, okay. Okay, so I'm logged into Bloodhound, and what we'll do is we'll clear anything that was already there. Let's just do that. And you can see that it generated these JSONs here, and this is what we will upload. It should be done deleting, so we'll just... Again, I'm using WSL, what the heck? Hold on. We'll just grab these. Okay. So Ryan, oh, Ryan did not pop up. Oh, still ingesting. Okay, so that says complete now. So now we should be able to see Ryan. Yep. So we'll just go through. Okay, it auto marks Ryan as owned, right? So we'll do service IS because we own that one now as well. Okay, and auto marks that one as well, and probably LDAP as well. So okay, yeah. So what we'll do, let's go to shade. We'll search from owned, and we'll just do shortest path from owned. Minimize that. Go ahead and snippet that. So we have Ryan, SVC, LDAP, and IIS, right? And it looks like LDAP can write the SPN of WinRM, which is also one of the accounts that we found, right? Which is a member of the remote management. So we can log into the box using this WinRM. And remember, one of the ports we had open was 5985, I believe it was. Yeah, 5985, which is we had already marked for evil WinRM, right? So it's coming together here. Let's see. Also, this Lacey Miller is part of the second line group. So LDAP can also restore users. So remember we had credential to Todd as well, right? So we kind of have, so we have two paths here, right? LDAP is part of that restore users group, which can obviously restore users. So we'll be restoring Todd Wolf as well. So let's, this gives us a pretty good idea of how we want to do this. Scroll back down. SVC LDAP can restore users. Todd Wolf, and then SVC LDAP can, oh God, what was the other thing? Can write the SPN of WinRM. Via evil, I'll just write it all out. Most likely, right? This is the two paths. These are our attack vectors here. Okay. So earlier, remember I said we are going to grab the ticket for service LDAP. So now that we know we need to do stuff with service LDAP, we will go ahead and do that, right? So Python 3 get you know what? I already have this. Voleur service LDAP. So saving that ticket, you can see, oh, so we're back to, I wonder how that, maybe because I restarted this shell, so we lost the ticket that we had in there, but no matter, because we're going to use this new one, right? So you can see that it created that service LDAP C cache there, right? So we'll just run that export back. And this time instead of Ryan doing LDAP, and you'll see it there, right? So now we can authenticate using Kerberos authentication with the service LDAP service account or user account, whatever you want to call it. So because we have that write SPN capability, we'll do like a targeted Kerberos. I have that command saved here. I don't know what that command is. So I have it saved here. So we'll just grab that. And yeah, we'll just run. Oh yeah, let's find the see, I knew it was gonna do that. What is going on with that? Targeted. Huh. So what's going on with my... This is gonna take forever. So I'll be back once that finishes re-indexing. Okay, so apparently it's not on my box at all. This is what happens when you switch between PCs so often. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. So, okay, so now that we have that Python script, so doing some verbose against the fully qualified domain name. Here's the domain against the account, or using the account LDAP and Kerberos authentication, that tag K at the end there. Okay, so we got one for Lacey and WinRM. Obviously, we wanted WinRM, right? So, because that's what we saw earlier in the Bloodhounds. So, and we can actually just do, we'll just do both, right? So, nano, throw those into a file. and we'll run hashcat. I might have to do shell, but we'll run 13100 against that Kerberos hashes file, and I'll show you that. I'm tripping. Huh. And we'll go back and grab some commands now. So we knew these were the two attack vectors. And so we grabbed the ticket of LDOT because that's one we're gonna really, that should be in a different order here, more like that. So we're gonna get after win our elm so that we can log into the box, and then we're gonna try to get this Todd Wolf, right? But we gotta grab the ticket so we can Kerberos authenticate using LDAP. Exported it. Oh, brother. Then we did targeted Kerberos. Well, I guess down here we did then we cracked it, and you can see so it ended up cracking this, and we got this password here for service win RM. So, and it didn't do anything with the Lacy. You can see recovered 1 out of 2, so it couldn't crack Lacy Miller, right? And I think that was all the commands there. And so now that we have a new cred, right, what we're gonna do, same thing we've been doing, right? We're gonna just run it back and get some get the TGT, the ticket for this account, service win, right? So and we'll just that should do it. Clock skew 2, great. So this happens from time to time, but you'll have to run that command back. And since I ran that, I want to pretend this is like a real pen test, right? And grab any command that ran successfully. Even sometimes even the failed commands as well, right? Depending on what they're doing. So we got that ticket there now, and you already know the drill. We're just gonna run it back, run the export. All right. Okay. So we can authenticate as WinRM now, right? We have the ticket, it's imported, right? Or exported, whatever. So why was that important? Well, it's in the name. One, WinRM, that's 5985, which is open. And also we already identified that we wanted to try to use evil win, as you do, right, with 5985. And so we can do that. We can evil win and commands in my history. So fully qualified domain name, the account, and you tell it what domain to use, right? So and we are in. So we'll just back up one directory and we'll run a tree/f to give you files on Windows. On Linux, all you have to do is tree, and it does that by default. But on Windows, you have to tell it explicitly to do the file. And here you can see under desktop, you can see our user.txt. You can go over there and cat that. And did I grab that command? Yeah. Well, do a little enumeration. So we got Todd Wolf, LDAP, WinRM. We're in as WinRM. There's also this backup Jeremy Combs, right? So we got backup and Jeremy Combs, and then potentially this Todd Wolf, right? But we can't access any of those as evil WinRM or as LDAP. Okay, so even though we're in as who WinRM, right? But we do have access to the box. However, if you remember our Bloodhound enumeration, which account had the ability to restore users, right? It wasn't WinRM. WinRM is just what we use to access the box. It was service LDAP. So right now we're in the context of WinRM, but we need to be service LDAP. Well, there's a tool called Run As CS, right? And we can use that tool to actually basically run commands as, and we're gonna enumerate that basically that Active Directory recycle bin, right, for the object Todd Wolf, right? So we can restore it, but we have to be right. Hopefully this is making sense. We have to be the user LDAP. So first, let me even see if I have that binary on my system. Okay, yeah, because I made sure I downloaded it earlier. So we're going to use this Net4 framework one, x64. We could also just use this one. So we'll just grab that into our working directory. I'll get rid of that nmap information there. Run SCS CS. So we'll host it. We'll just go with 8,000. Actually, that's default, I'm pretty sure. So we don't need to do the 8,000. Yep. Just host that. Okay. And we are currently in C drive, so we're gonna just decided to drop. It works out. And we'll grab it here to our home directory, right? So because we can write to this, right? So we'll just do wget 67 8,000. can see it grabbed it there. Oh, also, I could have just did download. Now that I think about it, EvilWin has that functionality. You can download or upload. So I probably should have just did that, but same. You can see the binary there. And so since we want to run as service LDAP, we'll do that. We'll grab his credential, or that credential, wherever that was. Here it is. And we'll tell it to spawn a PowerShell, reverse shell, right? So we're telling it, here, let me just finish writing it out. 10, 16, 67 at port, I like 4444, settable listener over here. Penelope. You know what? We'll just leave it Penelope. I was going to tell it listen on a specific port and all that, but there shouldn't be anything connecting to my PC. So if there is, I have a bigger problem. But yeah, we'll just do that. It's not, yeah. Okay, so you can see here it grabbed Penelope, caught the connection, and reline support added. It's even logging, and yeah, so we're here as system, because you can see we spawned there in the system 32, right? So, but we're still not really an elevated user, right? We just spawned as, the whole point was that we had access to the box as WinRM, but we needed to restore objects. We needed to be service LDAP, right? Because that's what we found in our Bloodhound enumeration, right? So, okay, there we are. So let me just get out of here first, and we'll just make a temp directory here and just work out of that. Okay. So there's a command here. I do not have memorized, but it is for looking up any user objects that are deleted, and the filter is deleted. This is pretty straightforward to read, right? Is deleted, object class equals user, right? Include deleted objects, right? So, and lo and behold, here's Todd, ready to go. Deleted true. Yeah, so we just have to restore that. Before we do that, let me catch up on my commands here. We did that. And then we also did Penelope. I'm just going to code block that because it's trying to mess up my markdown. And yeah, that was basically it. So, okay, so we've verified that Todd Wolf is deleted. So how do we restore it? Well, it gives you the ID right here, right? And so we'll just grab this. I have the command saved as well. And you can see we're using that ID. Identity, right? Restore that object. Pretty straightforward, right? And how do we confirm that that was actually restored? Well, and I probably should have shown you this beforehand, but now you'll see using net users, Todd Wolf is in there, where I promise it wasn't before. I just forgot to do net users beforehand to show you before and after. But so Todd Wolf is there. So what was Todd Wolf's credentials? We'll just go back up here and grab that where that's at. Yeah. And we'll just say restored. Okay. So now we have another way into the box, right? But what do we have to do? What have we been doing, right? Is you can't use NTLM authentication even though we have the credentials, right? So we have to grab his ticket. So we'll run that back, and we'll just do not that. Todd Wolf and his password. 2D2-130, I believe it was. Yeah. Okay, so we got the ticket. You can see right there. Who are we running as? Oh, because this is a new session, right? So, so whatever. We'll just go for the import, export, whatever. Okay. Now you'll see it there. We'll just do that. Okay, so now we have his ticket. So now we can authenticate using Todd. But what I want to bring your attention to is Todd is part of the second line support group. If you remember, if we go back to this, it's really tiny and I can't, that's not working. So, but you can see here, Todd Wolf is part of the second line support technician group. So, so the point, what I'm trying to get at is I want to enumerate SMB with Todd as well. PY. Because remember, there were those other shares that we didn't have access to. You know, let me show you something. We'll just run back that initial command that we did. And we'll change this information to Todd's information so you can see what I'm doing here. Oh, here it is. Yeah, so he also has that read to IT, right? So use IT unless second line support. So notice how this directory is different from what we had before, right? Before we had, I think it was like first line support or something. But also according to this, yeah, so first line support, second line, and third line. So potentially we have to get into third line as well. But yeah, so if we do, does tree work in here? Probably not. Oh yeah, it does. Okay. That is a lot. And it's still going. But look at this. There's some ntuser.dat files here. Why is that just chilling under the user Todd Wolf? I need this to stop. Yeah, I need you to stop. Great. Okay, I'll fix you. So yeah, those ntuser.dat files, why was that just chilling on the home directory, right? So remember, we can authenticate as Todd Wolf now. So that is what we will do. Oh, yeah, we lost our. No. What's going on here? Oh, did we need to? Just enumerate it normally. So Todd Wolf. Yeah, so obviously this is the structure of a system user, right? This is their home directory. So yeah, so why in the home directory are these files just chilling here, right? ntuser.dat or yeah, .dat. So there's a tool called dpapi.py that can be used to decrypt secrets. But to do that, you need to have the master key and a credential SID. So the master key is usually located in it's located under a SID under app data. So we can check there. Okay, so we'll do app data. And so there's local and there's roaming, and you really want to check both. We'll start with local. Microsoft, right, credentials, and we'll just do a get. Okay, now let's go back. We'll go under roaming as well. We'll do a get for this one. Under roaming Microsoft, instead of just doing credentials, you can go back one and we can go to protect, right? So remember, this one doesn't have a protect. Okay. And under the SID, this is where you can find the master key, right? So we got two credentials, well, quote unquote, dpapi credentials, right? And then we have this master key. The master key is always under the SID, right? So, and we'll just do this. Okay. And oh. So we have this, and then the master key, right? So you use the master key with both of these, and we can just try them. But I already know which one it is, so we're gonna do that right there. Yeah, that almost messed me up. The history thing is getting me now. But first you have to decrypt it with the SID and the password, right? So we already know the password, and this is the command here. So you grab the SID, you grab that key, and then see, it says master key, right? And this is not going to work because dpapi is missing. Just grab this one. Okay. And now we can run that back. Yep. Okay, so the master key, right? That's what we grabbed. And then we know the SID because that's what it was under, and we know the password, right? So we'll just run that, and Jesus. Three. There it is. Third time's the charm. Okay, and we'll go back and grab the rest of those commands, put them in here before we forget. And so now we got the decrypted key, right? So now we can run this long blob here. This is one of the, quote, credentials that we found. This is the decrypted key, and then that's it. That's all you really need. Oh my God. Okay. Now we have, remember, Jeremy Combs was one of the users. We have Jeremy Combs and his password. So let's go back. I'm trying to make sure this makes sense here. Let me okay. Right, so you got your master key here, right, in this location. And we will grab this as well. Okay. Okay, and in this location, we had the a credential. Don't hate me, guys. I'm trying to make this make sense. And CD credentials. Okay. So this location is that. Okay. So so under app data, the credentials either in roaming or local credentials, and then we did this one was get that, and then this one was get that. Now the only one I tried, because I knew the answer, was decrypt master key. Okay. And then here, I guess that's a decrypt. We'll just put got user credential. Okay. And so I'm gonna space this out so this makes sense, is easy to follow here, right? I'm trying to hurry because this video is getting pretty long, but so we found two credentials. I had only ran it against, as you can see here, I ran it against this credential. We could have also ran it against this one, but I didn't because I knew this was the right one. If you ran against this, you want to get any useful information back. Okay, so now we have Jeremy Combs. You already know what we're going to do with that. I'll just close this and close this one as well. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna Python 3 get TGT Jeremy Combs. That's the right IP. Run that back, grab his ticket, and then we're gonna export it. Okay, you can see it's there, and we're gonna do the same thing. Is now we have third line support using Jeremy Combs, right? Remember the last one was second line support. So CD, let's see what's in here. We got an ID, RSA, and a note, right? So we'll just get all of that. Get all of that. Yeah, okay. Exit that. Cat that note first. CD third. I don't want to get behind on my notes. Okay. Cat note.text.text. Okay, so Jeremy, I've had enough Windows backup. I've configured WSL. WSL. So with WSL, you're looking at mount, right? This is how you it can get access to the hosted system. So that's a good bit of information there. I can show you what that looks like on mine real quick. Mount. If I go to mount and I cdc. Well, now I'm starting to get into my actual. This is my actual host, my actual computer. There's my username, right? So the mount is how you get from WSL, from within WSL to the hosted system. So that's usually a vulnerability. So that's good to know. But we also have this ID RSA now, which is always a good thing. And it is listed as, let's just go ahead and do the chmod 600. Right, well, I'll show you, because remember that we have that port 2222. So let's try to do that. ID RSA. Let's go with backup. I think I can do it in that order. So you can see bad permissions. So we got to do that 600, right? And then run that command back. Okay, so now we're in as backup. And if we scroll up here, you'll see that we have effectively, other than Lacey Miller, but we already enumerated second line support. We also just enumerated third line just now. So we've utilized all of these users, right? So Service Wim, Jeremy Combs just now, IS. We're just logged in as backup. LDAP didn't do anything with Miller or didn't do anything with Ryan, Mary. But we started with Ryan, right? So we still want administrator, but so yeah, let's see what we can do with backup, the user backup. Oh, yeah. Okay, no password for everything. Okay. Well, where am I? Okay. So it was talking about WSL, right? So that gives us a hint. Let's just go to C drive and see what's in here. Everything's been coming out of the IT share, so let's just go there. Backups. So this wasn't there before, remember? It was just note.txt and ID RSA. So let's go to backups, see what's in here. Okay, we got a NTDS DIT, so we might be able to dump some secrets here. Port 222 is open. 222 quadruple 2, 2222. That's open, so we can use OSCP to transfer this back to our home system. So we have to be outside of it, right? So we'll do, yep, there's a command. And we'll send it to our working directory. I don't think this is going to work. Yeah, it's all jacked up. That I might have to put it in quotes or something. Oh, no such. Yeah, so the path is messed up. So let's do that. Yeah, okay. That way that space doesn't break it. Security system. Yeah, so when you dump secrets, you need is not a direct. Oh yeah, so you need the system file, right? That's how I just kind of already knew. I knew that was in here, but yeah, you need the system file and you need that ntds.dit to dump secrets and get like hashes and dump hashes, right? So we'll take this and we'll actually grab the one inside of active directory, everything. System file inside found ntds.dit inside. Okay. Now I'll just code block those because they're showing up a little strange. Okay. So you can see here we have the ntds.dit and we have the system file. Coming to the end here. So let's do secrets dump. Secrets dump. There's my command. It's not going to work because it doesn't know. It's not in my path. Just grab this one. Okay. Tell it to do it locally using the ntds.dit file and the system file. And oh, was I just missing that? Yeah. Okay, we'll just grab that. And administrator. Here's the hash. And hashes for other users as well, right? You see Mary, Lacey, all the other accounts. So, but remember, you can't just because we have the hash. So we still need to grab the ticket to authenticate with the administrator account now, right? Because we still can't just send the hash, right? So we'll do Python 3. Just run it back, right? And so this part here is going to be administrator. Oh, what was the hash? This. That looks right. Let's go with that. I don't know if I expect 2 got 1. you talking about? Let me find this in my notes here. Is it a space? There it is. Okay. You already know. Got it. And now we can authenticate using Kerberos authentication to the box. And we are in as administrator. Verify privileges. Yep, good to go. Right. So take a step back, and we'll do tree F. There's your root flag. You can cut that out. Sorry this box took so long. I'm still getting used to doing these boxes. I'm gonna try to keep them under an hour. I know we're at an hour and 32 minutes here, but yeah, hopefully you learned something. Hopefully it wasn't too confusing. I'm still getting used to basically explaining these concepts and things like that. But yeah, let me know what you thought in the comments below. All right, I'm out. Peace.